The numbers don't add up. IBM in Columbia hiring fewer and fewer workers.
The legal battle continues for a former police officer fighting to get his job back.
And another look at Missouri's Planned Parenthood. KOMU 8 News at 6 starts now. New job numbers shine another negative light on a big-name tech giant. Good evening, everyone. I'm Jem Reed.
And I'm Colin Ruane for Brittany Pieper. Thanks for joining us. The Missouri Department of Economic Development says IBM has fewer jobs in Columbia than it did earlier this year. KOMU 8 News received those numbers from the Missouri Department of Economic Development today. The latest data shows even fewer people are clocking in at IBM on a daily basis. Now, we're giving you a look at that new report. It shows IBM currently has 388 employees. That's another cut from earlier this year. In late March, KOMU 8 reported the Columbia IBM had 453 employees. That was after another drop just a few months earlier. Now here's the problem, and it's one we've reported on extensively. The company made an agreement with the state to hire 600 employees by the end of 2015. In exchange, the state said it would incrementally give $28 million in tax credits, and the city of Columbia agreed to pay $3 million in total for the company's building. But with fewer than 400 positions filled, that puts the company at only about 65% of its promised workforce. Now, I reached out to the mayor's office, the Chamber of Commerce, Ready, and IBM itself, and none have yet to respond to the new numbers.
We're following a developing story out of Pulaski County. We've confirmed a lawman from Dixon and his wife have been arrested and charged with 16 counts of theft and forgery. Michael Plummer is the city marshal. Sheila Plummer, his wife, is the former Dixon city collector. Michael Plummer is facing 15 counts, including felony, forgery, and a misdemeanor of hindering prosecution. Sheila Plummer is facing one felony charge related to stealing water services. More updates coming up on KOMU 8 News at 9 and 10. A new battle in the fight over Planned Parenthood in Missouri. KOMU 8's Kaylee Peterson is live in Jefferson City with a look at today's discussion.
Today, the Committees on Children and Families and Means and Way met to discuss the investigation into Missouri's Planned Parenthood. Planned Parenthood is being investigated after the national release of a video abortion opponent says shows the organization selling aborted fetal tissue. The Missouri Attorney General found that Planned Parenthood has been compliant with the state statutes. Republicans say now they want to discuss abortion procedures, and Democrats say the meeting is now pointless.
We're protecting lives. And it's a black market that's occurring within an act like this. It's not a witch hunt when we have video evidence of this going on.
It's needless, it is sensational, it is grandstanding, political theater. You know, the Attorney General has already cleared them of any wrongdoing in terms of Missouri statutes.
From Planned Parenthood through email earlier today. They told us, quote, "We were pleased but not surprised when the highest law enforcement agency in the state, after conducting a thorough investigation, found that Planned Parenthood fully complies with all laws related to fetal tissue. Leaders of the Missouri House and Senate interim committees want to ignore the evidence and continue their political attacks on Planned Parenthood." Reporting live in Jefferson City, Kaylee Peterson, KOMU 8 News.
Well, Rob Sanders, the former Columbia police officer who was fired in 2011 for excessive force on an inmate, had his day in appeals court today. The Missouri Court of Appeals Western District heard from both Sanders and the city's attorneys. Now, the point of today's case was to determine whether city manager Mike Mathis' decision to uphold Sanders' termination from CPD could stand. In order to do that, both sides had to argue whether it was or wasn't appropriate for Sanders to shove an inmate in a cell 4 years ago. Sanders' attorney argued that he acted within a CPD policy that states if an inmate is banging on a cell, there is a warning the first time. The second time banging occurs, the inmate is to be handcuffed to a ring in that cell, and if force is necessary to do that, it's okay. However, the city's attorney said this is not an official policy, but a practice, and a practice that both sides, said CPD Chief Burton's, clearly disagreed with, as suggested by testimony in previous hearings. Sanders says he knows he did nothing wrong and hopes to go back to work, but he knows it'll be difficult to work under a chief that has essentially been against him throughout this process.
If I wasn't supposed to do it, they never would have put in policy that I may do that. Because if you say you may do something in policy, That means it is regarded as applicable in those situations.
There was no decision made on the case today, but we're told Sanders will know the judge's decision within 90 days. Both the city and its attorney declined our requests for comment. Today's case follows a long legal battle dating back to 2011 for Sanders. He was fired in 2011, accused of using excessive force for pushing an inmate in a cell. After being charged with third-degree assault in August 2012, he was found not guilty of the charges in 2013. Columbia City Manager Mike Mathis declined to give Sanders back his job in November of that year. A Cole County judge reversed Mathis's decision in January of that year.
Columbia police arrested a man for a home invasion on the city's northwest side last night. 19-year-old Isaiah Anderson is charged and is being held in the Boone County Jail on 5 counts of first-degree robbery. Police say he and another suspect entered the apartment in the 1600 block of Parkside. Authorities say Anderson admitted he was armed during the attempted robbery. He also said he had been watching the apartment for 4 weeks. We spoke to residents who thought the area was safe. Now one resident is second-guessing her decision.
I just moved around here about 5 months ago, but I still haven't heard about anybody getting shot or robbed on this street. And to say I have a 2-year-old daughter, I'm scared. I'm thinking about moving.
Police are still looking for the second suspect. If anyone has information, they should call Crime Stoppers at 875-TIPS.
The Jefferson City Police Department received a shots fired call around 12:30 this afternoon. Crime scene investigators took pictures of evidence after responding to the call on Monroe Street. JCPD said the 911 call gave a vehicle description and it was located in less than 5 minutes. The suspect led police on a short chase before officers pulled over 4 suspects. One neighbor says this is the first time he has heard shots fired in the neighborhood.
Yeah, it's real safe. So it's real safe over here. I'm from Chicago, so it's completely different. So it's real safe.
Police say they confiscated 2 firearms and narcotics from the car. JCPD is still investigating the incident.
A bit warmer today. Let's send it over to Kenton for a check of our Wednesday evening forecast.
Jim, thank you very much. And temperatures right now in the middle and lower 70s across the area. 72 actually in Columbia, 74 in Jefferson City, 70 in Versailles, 72 at Lake Ozark. We're actually getting down into the 60s already in our northern viewing area. Otherwise, winds right now from the north, just about 5 miles an hour. You can see they're coming off from the north and even from the northeast as well. We have some high pressure above us. Otherwise, temperatures by 9 p.m. about 57 degrees. A lot of clear skies tonight and tomorrow as well, at least for the start of the day. High temperatures around 80 degrees, and then they're going to plummet off thanks to a cold front into the weekend. We even have some patchy frost possible. All those details coming up after the break.
Also ahead, enrollment is steadily increasing at Columbia Public Schools. What the district plans to do to address that.
Never be surprised by the weather. Download the free KOMU 8 weather app today.